Alright folks, picture this. You're going through your change jar, the one that's been collecting dust since the last time you tried to organize your life, and you find an old penny. Now, it's not just any penny. It's a 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And here's the kicker, it could be worth $1.1 million. Yes, I said million with an M. Now, before you go tossing it into the wishing well, let me explain why this humble penny is more like a golden ticket in disguise. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to spot this rare coin, how it got so valuable, and maybe even how you can cash in on your own treasure trove of pennies. Don't miss it! Let's dive right in, shall we? So, the 1989 Lincoln penny. Looks pretty normal, right? You've seen thousands of them, or maybe just a few if you're that one person who always gets rid of their loose change. But here's the twist, some of these pennies, specifically the ones without the mint mark, are worth a ton of money. Normally, you'd expect to see a mint mark on the front of the coin, like a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. But, for some reason, the 1989 penny was issued without one. Cue dramatic music. Now, why does that little missing mint mark make this penny so special? Well, turns out, it's a rare mistake, and collectors love rare stuff. The theory is that a batch of these pennies slipped through the cracks without the mint mark, and boom, you've got yourself a coin that's now worth over $1.1 million. Yep, that little copper disc is practically screaming, "I'm a collector's dream." Alright, before you start pawing through every penny you've ever seen, let's go over how you can actually tell if your 1989 penny is worth anything. First, you need to check the mint mark. If there's no D or S, you've got the right kind of coin. Then, give it a good once-over for any other signs that might make it even more valuable, like minting errors or really nice condition. Now, I've got to be honest with you. I've gone through my own stash of change before, and let me just say, I've had some seriously disappointing moments. Like the time I thought I had found a rare 1964 penny, but it turned out to just be a dirty, corroded one. I mean, hey, we've all been there, right? We get so excited, and then, it's just a regular penny with a little more personality. So, back to the 1989 no mint mark penny, check the condition. A shiny, pristine example could be worth a lot more. The rarer the coin, the more valuable it becomes. But remember, finding one in mint condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. Now, why is this penny worth so much? Is it magic? No, sadly, we haven't unlocked the secret to coin wizardry just yet. The value comes from its rarity and the demand for it among collectors. There aren't many of these no mint mark 1989 pennies floating around, and people love to get their hands on something rare, especially when it's linked to Abraham Lincoln's iconic image. He's probably rolling in his grave thinking, how did my face end up on this humble little coin that's worth more than my presidential salary? But here's the thing, the historical significance and the rarity combined make it highly collectible. And when you have something like that, collectors are willing to pay top dollar. Okay, you found your shiny 1989 no mint mark penny, and now you're probably thinking, how do I sell this thing and make a cool million? Well, slow down there, partner. First things first, make sure you've got the real deal. If you've verified that it's a true no mint mark penny in good condition, you've got a few options for selling it. You can sell it at an auction house, where collectors will bid against each other. Or, you could try online marketplaces like eBay. Just be sure you get it appraised first, because if you try to sell a $1.1 million penny for $1, you're gonna end up on a what not to do list somewhere. Trust me, I've seen some crazy stuff happen online. Also, don't forget to check the provenance of the coin. If you've got documentation showing it's a rare, verified coin, it could help you fetch an even higher price. The 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin worth $1.1 million, if you can find one in the right condition. You've learned how to identify it, why it's so valuable, and how to sell it if you ever stumble upon one. Now, I know not everyone's going to find $1 million penny in their change jar, and trust me, I'm still holding out hope for that moment, but hey, at least you've got a better chance of finding a rare coin than most people do. So, next time you're at a garage sale or diving into that coin collection, remember, you could be one penny away from a fortune. If you enjoyed today's video and want to learn more tips and tricks on valuable coins, be sure to hit that subscribe button. You'll get the latest strategies and insights that could turn your spare change into something incredible. Plus, I've got more coin hunting tips coming your way, so don't miss out. Hey, what's up, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters? You ever think about the stuff you casually toss into your change jar? Like, I bet you've got a ton of pennies just hanging out there, right? Maybe even some from the 1980s that you're totally convinced are worth something, but spoiler alert, not so much. But then, you've got this one penny, this little beacon of hope, sitting in your jar, and guess what? That thing could be worth a fortune. No joke, today, I'm talking about the 2020 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You're probably thinking, wait, a 2020 penny worth $1 million? Yep, you heard that right. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking your pocket change like it's your new part-time job. Stick around, we've got a wild ride of history, value, and maybe a little personal anecdote to keep things fun.so. First off, let's talk about why this 2020 D-Mint Mark penny is even worth anything in the first place. I mean, most of us have seen Lincoln's face on pennies like a billion times. It's just another copper-colored coin with Old Abe on it. But, not all pennies are created equal, you see, the 2020 D penny is a bit of a rarity. It's not just any penny, it's a specific one that caught the attention of serious coin collectors when it hit the market. Here's where the fun part comes in. You know that feeling when you buy something that's a little out of the ordinary? Like, maybe you spent extra on a super fancy coffee and then realized you couldn't feel your legs from the caffeine buzz? Yeah, that's kind of what the 2020 D penny feels like. Just when you thought pennies were useless, along comes a hidden gem. Now, here's where the market value comes into play. A penny worth $1.2 million? Yep, it sounds absurd, but bear with me. The value of a 2020 D penny skyrockets because of a combination of factors: its rarity, its minting error, and, of course, the ever-hungry world of collectors who are willing to pay a premium for something unique. Collectors are always on the lookout for limited mintage coins or special errors. This penny, while looking like any other at first glance, has an incredible backstory of being one of the rarest modern pennies. Let me break this down even more. The 2020 D penny has this rare minting flaw that makes it different from the rest. See, this penny has a slight design variation that adds a little more value to it. People love that stuff. They'll pay top dollar for these errors. And when I say top dollar, I mean it. It's like stumbling across that $20 bill in your jeans pocket after doing laundry. You didn't expect it, but now you're doing a happy dance. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I've got a 2020 D penny that's worth anything? Well, here's a story for you. One time, I was flipping through my own coin collection, looking for some cool vintage stuff. I pulled out a pile of pennies from 2020, thinking they were just, well, pennies. Just regular old coins that I could throw in my pocket, maybe toss them in a vending machine and pray for a snack. But then, my buddy, who's an expert in these things, took one look and goes, "Whoa, slow down. That's a 2020 D. And this one has a minting error." I was like, come on, you gotta be kidding me. But nope, it was real. We got it appraised, and sure enough, that penny turned out to be worth about $1.2 million. Insert dramatic gasp here. I'm not saying you're going to find a $1.2 million coin in your collection, but it just goes to show, don't underestimate those boring pennies. They're like the hidden treasure of the coin world, okay? So let's say you want to get in on this. How do you find your own $1.2 million 2020 D penny? First, the first thing you want to do is, of course, look for that D-Mint mark. The D stands for Denver, and it's located right below Lincoln's shoulder on the front of the coin. It's small, so don't go squinting too much, but it's there. Look for the minting error. Sometimes it's subtle, but if the penny has been struck improperly, the coin could have missing details or weird patterns. If you spot one of those, take a second look. Now, I'll admit, it's not super likely that you'll find a penny worth $1.2 million, but hey, it doesn't hurt to check. Keep your eyes peeled. You know, sometimes it's those moments where you think, I'm never gonna find anything this cool, and bam, the unexpected happens. Just like that time I thought I'd never find anything valuable in my change jar, and then, well, I found the golden nugget. Or, at least, a penny that got me really excited, the 2020 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a modern-day treasure that might just be sitting in your change jar, waiting to blow your mind and your wallet. Whether you're new to the world of coin collecting or you've been in the game for years, always remember to check your change. Sometimes the coolest discoveries are the ones you least expect, and hey, if you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies to grow your collection, or just a good old laugh while diving into the world of rare coins, don't forget to subscribe. Trust me, there's more where this came from. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. Who knows, your next $1 million coin could be right under your nose. Hey coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where your pocket change might just be worth more than your car. I'm talking about the mind-blowing world of coins worth big money. Now, before you roll your eyes and toss that penny you found in your cup holder, let me stop you right there. What if I told you that a little old 2021 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? Yes, you heard me right. A penny 1 cent, a copper-colored coin you might have dropped on the sidewalk last week, is now sitting pretty with $1 million status. Stick around, because in this video we're diving into everything you need to know about the 2021 D mint mark Lincoln penny, how it became a superstar, and how you can tell if you have one hiding in plain sight. And to make things fun, I've got a wild story involving a gas station, a cup of coffee, and a penny that almost changed my life. So grab a snack and maybe that jar of coins you've been ignoring, because you just might be sitting on a fortune. First off, what's the deal with the 2021 D mint mark Lincoln penny? So this little beauty was minted in Denver, hence the D, and while most of these coins are worth about a cent give or take depending on how lucky you feel, there's a very special variant that's causing chaos in the coin collecting world. We're talking about an error coin, baby, the kind that collectors dream of and will pay big bucks for. Now, this particular 2021 D penny has what's known as a double die error, and not just any error. This one's got bold doubling on Lincoln's face and even parts of the date and mint markets. Like Abe Lincoln had a twin who photobombed. The coin collectors love error coins because they're rare, they're weird, and they tell a story about the minting process gone wrong in the most valuable way. Only a handful of these error versions have been verified, which makes them extremely rare, and yep, you guessed it, that means they're super valuable. One verified coin went to auction and sold for a ridiculous $1.3 million. Yeah, not a typo. First, grab a magnifying glass, or if you're like me, use your phone camera and zoom all the way in. Look closely at the date 2021 and see if it looks kind of doubled, like someone stamped it twice but slightly off. Then check out Lincoln's eye and mouth, that's where the doubling really stands out in these rare errors. Also look at the D mint mark, if it looks bubbly or extra thick, that's another red flag, or should I say green flag for money. Now, here's where it gets wild. Let me tell you my own penny story. So picture this: I'm at a gas station, half asleep, needing coffee like my life depends on it. I pay cash for once and the cashier hands me back change, including this super shiny 2021 D penny. I glance at it and think, that's a good looking coin. I almost threw it into the take a penny tray, but something made me keep it. I get home later, I'm scrolling through coin forums because I'm that kind of nerd, and I see a post about the rare 2021 D double die penny. I practically leap off the couch, run to my pants, grab the penny, and start inspecting it like a detective in a crime show. Unfortunately, it wasn't the rare one, but the thrill was real, and now I check every 2021 D penny I find. Even if your 2021 D penny has the right error, it needs to be in good shape to fetch big bucks. That means minimal scratches, solid luster, no major dings. If you think you've got a winner, don't just toss it on eBay, take it to a professional grader like PCGS or NGC. They can officially certify it, and that certification can turn your lucky find into a 6 or 7 figure payday. Plus, collectors are way more likely to shell out the big bucks for certified coins. And let me just say, this coin collecting isn't just for old dudes with magnifying glasses in dusty basements. Nope, it's for everyone: students, moms, dads, kids, even your neighbor who still uses a flip phone. Anyone can find a treasure. It's all about knowing what to look for first. Always look through your change, especially pennies from 2021. Second, get a magnifying glass or a decent phone camera. Third, bookmark websites like error-ref.com and use coinbook.com. They're goldmines for learning about rare coins. Fourth, consider investing in a coin album or folder to keep your finds safe and organized. Fifth, don't assume anything is worthless. I've seen people throw away coins that were worth hundreds of dollars just because they didn't know what they had. And if you find one that looks promising, don't panic, just breathe. Contact a local coin dealer or coin show in your area and get a second opinion. Alright folks, if you've made it this far, you're now officially part of the rare coin crew. The 2021 D Lincoln penny might just be the unassuming little hero of your coin jar, so don't underestimate those tiny copper circles. They could be worth more than a luxury car, a college tuition, or like 50,000 Taco Bell runs. Check your change. Double check your change, and if you find anything suspiciously valuable, hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And now here comes the part where I shamelessly beg, but with style. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about coins worth serious money, or maybe you just like my weird stories and bad jokes, hit that subscribe button, smash it gently or violently, dealer's choice. Just make sure it turns gray and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to turn a penny into a payday. Share this video with a friend who always says pennies aren't worth anything and prove 'em wrong. Hey, welcome back, coin hunters and treasure seekers. I've got one question for you today. Have you ever tossed a penny to the side thinking it was worthless? Well, what if I told you one little copper colored coin from 1988 with a tiny D under Lincoln's shoulder could be worth $1.4 million? Yeah, you heard me right. One penny, $1.4 million. That's like turning couch change into a luxury yacht. Now I know what you're thinking. Nah, that can't be real. That sounds like one of those internet myths, right? But nope, this is a real deal coin that's got collectors practically foaming at the mouth to get their hands on it. So grab your penny jar, because by the end of this video you're gonna be digging through it like a raccoon in a trash can. And hey, don't forget to stick around, because I'll be sharing a wild little story about the time I almost gave away a valuable coin without even realizing it. Spoiler alert, it involves my mama, yard sale, and a very angry call from a coin dealer. So what's the deal with this 1988 D Lincoln penny? Why is this plain looking coin suddenly a millionaire's dream? Well, my friends, it all comes down to a little thing called a transitional error. In 1988, the US Mint was doing a little switcheroo behind the scenes. They were changing the design on the obverse, which is the fancy word for the front of the coin, you know, the side with Abe Lincoln looking like he's judging your spending habits. Anyway, in 1988 the new design had slightly different lettering details, specifically the style of the letters and the word Liberty in the mint mark. But here's the kicker: some pennies struck at the Denver Mint accidentally used the old die from 1987. What does that mean? Well, imagine printing a new batch of wedding invitations using last year's template. Oops, so now we've got this strange hybrid coin that shouldn't exist, but it does, and because of that mistake the 1988 D penny with the old style design is now extremely rare, like rare enough to make collectors whip out their magnifying glasses and start sweating. There are only a few confirmed to exist, and one of them sold for a mind-blowing $1.4 million at auction. Yes, someone looked at a penny and thought, you know what, I'm gonna mortgage my house and buy that bad boy. And honestly, I respect the hustle. Now, if you're wondering how to tell if your 1988 D penny is the special one, you're gonna need a good magnifier and a sharp eye. Look closely at the letters in Liberty and the D mint mark. If they have that old school style from 1987, you might be holding something worth way more than a copper-coated snack for your vacuum cleaner. So a few years back I was cleaning out the garage, you know, the classic weekend project that spirals out of control. I had this old dusty jar full of coins, pennies, nickels, some gum wrappers for flavor. I thought, hey, let's just dump this at mom's yard sale, slap a $1 sticker on it, call it a day. Well, turns out a coin dealer happened to swing by. He picks up the jar, sifts through it like a prospector, and boom, finds a 1969 S double die penny worth thousands. I didn't even know it was in there. He gives my mom a 5 for the whole jar. She's thrilled. I am devastated. Moral of the story: never underestimate the power of pocket change, and always check your coins before you toss them in the yard sale pile. Alright, so here's the bottom line: that little 1988 D Lincoln penny you've probably ignored 100 times could be worth over $1 million if it's got that rare design error. It's like winning the lottery, but without having to pick 6 numbers and disappoint your family. So go check those coins, raid your piggy bank, ask your grandma if you can look through her change jar. You never know what you might find. And if you enjoyed this little coin adventure, if you learned something, if you laughed even once, then do me a huge favor: smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you don't miss the next hidden treasure tip, and share this video with your friends, because who knows, they might have the $1 million penny and owe you a dinner after watching this. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Stay curious, stay coin crazy, and remember, every penny has a story, but some have a whole mansion attached to them. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters and penny pinchers, welcome back to the channel where small change can mean big bucks. If you're new here, I'm your coin crazy host, and today I've got a shiny little secret to share with you. Now brace yourself, because this might make you want to rate every couch cushion you've ever sat on. We're talking about a humble little coin you probably walked past 100 times without thinking twice: the 1986 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yeah, that one, that same copper colored coin that usually gets tossed in a tip jar could be worth up to $1.5 million today. I know you're probably thinking, oh come on, it's just a penny, what could possibly make it worth more than my car, my student loans, and my dignity combined? Well, stick around, because we're diving deep into why this particular coin is blowing collectors' minds. Grab a drink, kick back, and get comfy, because you're about to get pennywise and maybe even dollar rich in the good old USA. Most pennies have a tiny letter under the date. That letter tells you where it was minted: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and if there's nothing there, it was minted in Philadelphia. Now here's the kicker: most Philadelphia pennies are common, but not this one. The 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare breed, and here's why. Well, buckle up, because it's all about a rare minting error. The US Mint had a slip up in 1986 and ended up producing a limited batch of Lincoln pennies in Philadelphia without any mint mark. And here's the spicy part: these weren't just missing the mint mark, they had some unique die errors and incredibly high-grade conditions. We're talking MS67 and above. These bad boys are crisp, clean, and shine like they just came off the press yesterday. Collectors go wild over stuff like this because it's a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and historical oddity. In short, it's the coin version of a unicorn with six-pack abs. A few years ago I was visiting my grandma, yeah, you know, the one who Still watches soap operas like it's a sport while she hands me a dusty old coffee can and says, "Here, maybe you'll get something for this junk inside." So I take it home, open it up, and boom, a mountain of pennies pours out. I swear it looked like a scene out of a pirate movie minus the dramatic music and cursed treasure. I start sorting through them just for fun, right? And lo and behold, there it is, a 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. I wasn't sure at first if it was the real deal, but after a little research and a lot of squinting, I realized I might be holding onto something special. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the $1 million one. Mine had scratches, dents, and what looked like a bite mark, probably from my cousin Kyle, but still it taught me an important lesson. So what should you look for in this 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny? You'll want to check for a few key things. First, condition. It needs to be in pristine shape. We're talking mint state, no scratches, no discoloration, no "oops, I ran this through the laundry" damage. Second, make sure it truly doesn't have a mint mark. This sounds obvious, but trust me, when you've stared at hundreds of pennies in a row, your eyes start seeing things like mint marks where there are none. Or that time I thought Lincoln was winking at me. Third, check for errors. Look at the details, the spacing of the letters, any doubling of the image. Anything that looks off could be a huge plus and increase the value. Now, how do you find out what it's worth? Head to a reputable coin dealer or get it graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. That's where the big money comes in. An official grade of MS67 or higher is what's turning these 1986 no mint mark pennies into literal golden tickets. Oh, and let me save you some heartbreak here. Just because you find one doesn't mean you're instantly rich. There are tons of 1986 no mint mark pennies out there, but only the perfect ones are cashing in big. So be realistic, but also be hopeful. This is coin collecting after all. The hunt is half the fun and the other half is bragging about your finds on YouTube. 1. Never underestimate a penny. 2. Always check for mint marks. And 3. If your grandma gives you a coffee can full of coins, hug her and then start digging through it immediately. This 1986 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny might be tiny, but it's got a massive payday potential if you find the right one with its rare mint error, high grade condition, and a splash of collector demand. This little guy is making some serious noise in the numismatic world, and if you're thinking, dang, maybe I've walked past a fortune, well, you're not alone. So here's what I want you to do. Check your jars, your drawers, your pockets, even your car cup holders. Who knows, you might just be sitting on a $1.5 million treasure. If you had fun, learned something new, or even just laughed at one of my bad jokes, go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe if you want more tips on coins worth big money, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a video where pocket change becomes life change. Hey coin lovers, welcome back to the channel where we talk about coins that could literally be hiding in your couch cushions and secretly be worth a small fortune. Now let me hit you with a question. What if I told you that an ordinary looking penny from 1960, the one with the little D mint mark under the date, could be worth up to $1.6 million? Yeah, you heard me right, a penny worth $1 million and change. Now before you sprint to your piggy bank, take a deep breath, because we're about to dive into what makes this coin so special and how you might just have one tucked away without even knowing it. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's talk coins, cash, and crazy collector stories. Elvis was still shaking his hips, the Beatles were just warming up, and the US Mint was stamping out millions of Lincoln pennies like there was no tomorrow. Most of them ended up jingling around in pockets, dropping between couch cushions, and being stuck under vending machines, but a select few were different. A rare variation of the 1960 D Lincoln penny became one of the most valuable in numismatic history. Now here's where it gets juicy. The 1960 D penny was minted in Denver, which is what the D stands for. Not darn, that's expensive. Although maybe it should. There are two main versions of the 1960 D penny, the large date and the small date, and you guessed it, the small date is the moneymaker. Literally, the small date version has tinier numbers on the date, particularly that 0 in 1960. It looks more oval than round. Sounds boring, looks boring, but collectors go wild for this stuff. And if you find a small date 1960 D penny in pristine condition, especially one that's graded MS67 or higher, you could be staring at a coin worth up to $1.6 million. Now I know what you're thinking, why would anyone pay that much for a penny? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and collector demand. Coin collecting is like Pokemon for adults with slightly more back pain. You've got to catch the rare ones and hold on to them like your life savings depends on it, because sometimes it actually does. Now let me tell you a little story, true story by the way. A few years ago I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. A bit of a hoarder, okay, a lot of a hoarder. Weary talking boxes stacked to the ceiling, old radios, VHS tapes, you name it. Well, in one of those dusty coffee cans was a jar full of pennies. I am talking hundreds. I thought, hey, maybe I'll find a 1943 copper penny or something cool. Didn't find that, but I did pull out a 1960 D penny, took it home, got a magnifying glass, realized it was a large date. Womp womp, still worth about 5 cents thanks to inflation. But man, for a second my heart was racing, and that's the thrill of the hunt, folks. Coin collecting is part treasure hunt, part history lesson, and part financial gamble. It's like Las Vegas, but with fewer regrets and more pocket change. Back to the 1960 D. If you think you have one, here's what you do. First, check if it's the small date, compare the shape of the numbers, especially that 0 like I said, oval equals potential jackpot, round equals try again next. Check the condition. If it looks like it's been chewed by a lawnmower, it's probably not worth much, but if it's shiny, clean and crisp, you might have a winner. And if you really want to know what you've got, send it in to get graded by PCGS or Rank. That's the professional coin grading service, or the numismatic guarantee company. Yes, they sound fancy because they'll slap that coin into a little plastic case, give it a grade, and you'll know for sure if you've got gold hiding in copper. Now remember, the market for rare coins goes up and down, but the 1960D small date penny, especially in top condition, has consistently held high value and even peaked recently at $1.6 million. That's a lot of zeros for a coin that was once just used to buy gum. The 1960D Lincoln penny with the small date, a humble little coin that could turn you into a millionaire if you're lucky. And even if you don't find one, hey, at least you're learning and having fun doing it. Plus, now you've got a great excuse to go digging through grandma's change jar and blame it on coin research. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in plain sight, coins that could be worth thousands or even millions, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash that like, drop a comment with the oldest coin you've ever found, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next treasure hunt, because here on this channel we're not just talking pennies, we're talking possibilities. Till next time, keep searching, keep learning, and remember, even a penny can be worth a fortune. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters and curious coin lovers, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into pure gold. Not literally, of course, unless you're a magician or an alchemist, and if you are, please message me. I have questions today. We're diving into a coin that's quietly been chilling in junk drawers, glove compartments, and old piggy banks across America, the 1978D Lincoln penny. Yep, that little brown disc you probably flipped for heads or tails in middle school could now be worth a mind-blowing $17 million. That's right, $1.7 million for a single cent. Don't go checking your pockets just yet. Stay with me because we're about to break it all down. Now, before we dive deep, I gotta tell you a quick story. So picture this: I was at a garage sale last summer, you know, one of those where someone's trying to sell a cracked lava lamp and a VHS tape of Home Alone 3 for $5. I spot a dusty old jar of coins and I'm like, jackpot. I give the guy $2 for the whole jar, thinking worst case I'll use them for laundry. While I get home and start sorting through, and boom, there it is, a 1978D penny, looking all humble and innocent. Of course mine wasn't the $1 million one, but hey, it got me curious and down the coin rabbit hole I went, and now here we are. The 1978D penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. You'll find that tiny D right under the date on the front side of the coin. That D doesn't stand for dollars, unfortunately, but if you've got the right one, it just might. So why would a penny from 1978 be worth $17 million? Is it made of unicorn tears? Did Abraham Lincoln autograph it? No, but it's still special. There are a few reasons some 1978D pennies are super valuable. Number 1, condition. We're talking pristine, top shelf, untouched by human hands kind of condition. This is what collectors call MS67 or higher mint state. Basically, if your penny looks like it just left the mint yesterday and never took a ride in someone's pocket, it might be worth something serious. Number 2, errors. Yep, you heard that right, mint errors can be big money. Things like double dies, off center strikes, or if the penny was stamped on the wrong kind of metal. I know it sounds like mistakes should make a coin less valuable, but in the collector world it's the opposite. A good error is like finding a typo in the Constitution. It's rare and people go nuts for it. Number 3, rarity. Now, millions of these coins were made, but finding one that's rare due to a combination of perfect condition and a unique error. Now that's the unicorn, and guess what? One such unicorn sold at auction for $17 million, making this humble little penny an absolute legend. On the front you've got honest Abe looking sharp with that thoughtful "don't spend me" expression, the words "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1978 line the top and left. Then that all-important D mint mark sits snug under the date. On the back you've got the Lincoln Memorial, and fun fact, if you look super close you can see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. No joke, grab a magnifying glass, it's like Where's Waldo but with presidents. Okay, so maybe you're wondering, how do I know if my 1978D penny is worth millions? Well, step 1, check the condition. If it looks like it's been chewed on by a raccoon, it's probably not the one, sorry pal. Step 2, check for errors. If you spot something weird like double letters, a funny color, or a strange texture, that's a good sign. And step 3, get it graded. You can send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll look at it under fancy lights with magnifying gadgets and let you know just how special it is. If they tell you you've got a high grade plus a rare error, congratulations, you might want to cancel your next shift and start looking up what kind of sports car you'll buy. So there you have it. The 1978D Lincoln penny may look small, but it's got big dreams and an even bigger price tag. If you've got a jar of coins sitting around, don't ignore those pennies. Give them a second look, because you never know what treasure is hiding in plain sight. And hey, if you liked hanging out today and want more tips on coins worth serious money, subscribe to the channel. We've got all kinds of coin secrets coming your way, including how to spot fake rare coins, which years to hoard, and what not to clean with a toothbrush. Looking at you, Uncle Rick. Smash that like button, share this video with your favorite penny pincher, and drop a comment if you've ever found a coin that made you do a double take. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into treasure maps and everyday coins into potential jackpots. Today we're diving into a coin that might be hiding right in your junk drawer, and believe it or not, it could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard that right, not 18 bucks, 18 million dimes. We're talking about the 1968 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now before you chuckle and say come on, it's just a penny, think again. This little copper colored beauty is hiding a story that could make you the next coin millionaire. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's go on this numismatic adventure together. And hey, stick around to the end because I'll share a funny story about the time I accidentally gave away a rare penny at a gas station. Spoiler alert, I still have regrets. Alright, so what makes the 1968 no mint mark penny so special? I mean, it looks like any other penny, right? Good old Lincoln staring off into the distance like he's thinking about what's for dinner. In 1968, pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But here's the thing, Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark back then, so when you see a penny from 1968 without a mint mark, you might think cool, it's just a regular Philly coin. But nope, some of these no mint mark pennies were actually mistruck or double die errors, and that's where the real value hides. Now you're probably wondering, what's a double die? Is it like when your printer prints the same thing twice? Not far off. Basically, a double die error happens when the die that stamps the design onto the coin shifts just a tad between strikes. This creates a blurry or doubled image, especially noticeable on the lettering or the date, and collectors go absolutely nuts for these kinds of errors. Think of it like a coin with a built-in glitch or rare factory flaw that turns it into a collector's dream. So here's what to look for in your 1968 no mint mark penny. Check the date, the numbers, especially the 1, the 9, and the 6 should look a little funky, like someone tried to write them twice after too much coffee. Look at the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If they appear slightly doubled or shadowed, that's a huge red flag, or rather green flag if we're talking money. And make sure it's in good condition. I'm not talking mint fresh, but the clearer the details, the more valuable the coin. Now I know what you're thinking, this all sounds cool, but $1.8 million, that's gotta be an exaggeration. Actually, no way. Pristine 1968 no mint mark penny with a dramatic double die error sold for a whopping $1.8 million at auction. And the best part, it wasn't even from a fancy collector, it was found by someone who was just sorting through a jar of old coins during spring cleaning a few years ago. I was at a gas station filling up, and I had one of those "I just cleaned my car" moments where I dumped all the loose coins I could find into the cashier's tray. You know where this is going, right? Fast forward a week, I'm watching a video just like this one, and I see someone talking about a rare penny from the late 60s. I go back to check my stash and realize I had one and it was gone. Yep, probably used it to buy a Snickers bar at that gas station. So learn from my pain, people. Always check your change before you spend it, because that penny could be your ticket to early retirement or at least a really fancy vacation. Right now in 2025, the coin market is on fire, and rare error pennies, especially from the 60s and 70s, are in high demand. A top quality 1968 no mint mark penny with the right double die error can fetch between $500,000 and $1.8 million depending on the condition, rarity, and how many collectors are fighting over it. Even a less dramatic error or a moderately worn version can sell for thousands, and if you're lucky enough to get it professionally graded with a high score from a place like PCGS or NGC, you're in for a big payday. So how do you check your coins? Here's a quick strategy: flip them over and check for mint marks or lack thereof. Look closely at the lettering and date. A magnifying glass helps. A jeweler's loupe is even better. If you spot something suspicious or unique, don't clean it, that could ruin its value. Instead, take it to a professional or submit it for grading. Join a coin collecting group online or locally. You'd be surprised how much you can learn and how many experts are willing to help out newbies. Be patient and have fun. Coin hunting is kind of like fishing, you never know when you'll reel in the big one. Alright, coin fam, that's the scoop on the 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a tiny piece of copper that could be worth more than a Ferrari. Remember, this isn't just about getting rich, it's about appreciating history, having fun, and maybe, just maybe, getting lucky with your spare change. So next time you get a penny back from the store, don't toss it in the tip jar, at least not before giving it a good look. Who knows, you might be holding onto a six-figure secret. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth serious money, strategies for spotting rare finds, and stories of real people cashing in on coins, hit that subscribe button, give us a like if you learned something new, and drop a comment if you've ever found something weird or valuable in your pocket change. And hey, turn on those notifications because we've got more treasure hunting tips coming your way real soon.